Okay. Tired of waiting. YouTube takes the longest. Okay. And then, you ready to transition?
We need the countdown.
Yeah.
You have to put the countdown on. You have to put the countdown on.
Minus 20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good morning, everyone. It's Aimee. I'm here today with my Cran Energy for the day and conversation. This is my drink of choice today. I went back and forth because I really like smoothies, but we couldn't think of anything that went with smoothie. So I'm not sounding off, so I couldn't say smoothie and sound off. So anyway, I typically drink a smoothie first thing in the morning. I'm not a coffee or a tea drinker, so but I do love Cran Energy. This is my energy for the day. When I need a pick-me-up throughout the day, it uses green tea for the energy. So my little commercial for my cranberry juice and conversation. So welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you, Ray. Good to see you, Ted, Carrie, all of our regulars. Thank you for joining us. This is not my typical thing. So bear with me today. Libby has gotten me started while Greg is doing his Bible study. And Carrie is off visiting her daughter. So we're really glad that she's able to spend some time with her family and her daughter, because I know she really misses her. So I'm glad they were able to spend some time together. So we'll pray for Carrie and safe travels for her and time well spent with family. So I hope you're getting a little bit of that too. I know everything is kind of weird. Nobody knows if people are working or not working, or now some people are going back home for work, and it's all a little crazy. So we just pray for calm and peace in our world at this moment as we all try to just kind of navigate through things. And actually that brings me to what our topic is for this morning. In talking about it and thinking about it. Today, I want to talk about embracing change, and how ironic that we have the last 4 months have been going through lots of changes, right? So it's been a little weird. I don't know about for you, but for me, every week seems to be just looks a little different and feels a little different. Good morning, Rachel. Glad to see you. I'm glad you're here with us on Coffee and Conversation, or for me, it's Cranberry Juice and Conversation. We're talking about embracing change. So I want you to think about, here's the question for today. I'm just curious what kinds of changes people are going through. Besides the typical COVID changes, what kind of changes maybe have happened in your life relatively recently, or are coming up in your life, or happening currently? For us right now, we are kind of preparing our house for moving. And I say kind of, we are, but it's still a little weird for me. It's still a little bit of change. So just to give you a little bit of background about where I am, and maybe some of you out there might be in the middle of thinking about changing where you live, or changing that kind of thing. You could be changing jobs during this crazy time, and maybe have had to change jobs. Maybe it's a change of life because maybe you're going to be a grandparent, or maybe a new parent, or maybe have a second or third child. There's all kinds of seasons of change out there that happen in our lives, aren't there? And for us, it's moving. And to give you just a brief history on this, back in December, Greg was feeling like it was time to move. And I was saying, nope, not moving. I had a plan, my plan. As we all know, I'm sure God gets a good chuckle when he listens to our plans. But my plan was that we would stay in this house that the kids have grown up in from the beginning. Nathan was here when he was 1, so he doesn't really remember living anywhere else. But Nathan and Natalie have grown up here. And my plan was that once they graduated from college, I wanted this to be home that they could come home to. And I wanted them to feel that comfort of being able to come, looking forward to coming home, hopefully. Anyway, so Greg said, no, I think it's time to move. And he made a lot of good observations in our neighborhood and things that were going on. And it was probably time. And I was not about it. I said, no, we are not moving, not doing it, not changing my mind. No. Did you get it? I said no. Anyway, so we had some family meetings, family discussions, and the kids were like, no, it's fine. Go ahead. And, we might not even come home in the summer because, we might have internships or things like that. And so I thought about it, but, that wasn't a big deal. And then my mom is changing, big changes for her. She's retiring and she's moving to Ohio from New Jersey. That's a big deal, obviously, big changes for them. And so I've been looking for houses for her. We've been looking during COVID. We could do virtual tours and things like that, but she couldn't really get here. So I was doing all the looking. And, as I was looking, I think it was God's timing is always brilliant. We don't always recognize that, but looking back at it, I think with every house that we saw, while I was trying to picture it for my mom, I think it worked on me a little bit as well, that I was softening to the idea of living in another house. So I think that's really interesting. I'm looking here. Ted says that today's his first day of his new job. So wow, congratulations. Working at Campo Roofing. So driving a truck, that's awesome. So congratulations on your new job. That's wonderful. Let's see. I want to go up and see. I think I saw another comment. Wait. Carrie, new niece coming in October. Congratulations. That's awesome. Peace be with you, Dottie. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So yeah, what are the other kind of changes that are happening in your life? I was just sharing. I'm Aimee Wasinski. I don't think I even introduced myself. I think it said on the side there of the frame. But I'm Greg's wife, Aimee, and I'm here with my cranberry in conversation because we couldn't find anything to rhyme with smoothie. So, but anyway, I love this cranberry juice. It's my favorite. Little shot of green tea energy. Anyway, so God was working on my heart, and of course I didn't realize it. We don't always notice that, but looking back, I can see it over the last 6 months that chipping away at that little, maybe you shouldn't be so quick to just say no. So, wouldn't you know, my mom found a house, and so we were ending the search, and it was a long search. So I was glad to be ending that. And all of a sudden, there comes this opportunity, this possibility for us to move, along with an opportunity for the ministry, possibly. And kind of all of it wrapped into one neat little package, that we might have an opportunity to move somewhere that would further the mission of the ministry, which is so important. And it's something that we've talked about for many years. It was a dream when we were first getting married, and before we had kids, we had talked about this possibility. So I don't know. I'm not trying to be mysterious, but I'm not really sure about if I'm allowed to say or not. So we'll just pray for us. I just ask for prayers for the changes that are happening at the ministry, opportunities that are coming along. I pray for you and your changes. I think if I've kind of already said it, what changes are a little scary, aren't they? Sometimes they're exciting and scary all at the same time. And I read this article from a group it's a ministry called Proverbs 31 Ministries. And I love some of the writings that they have. They're all women, so it's related to women. No offense, guys. But I think you guys could get something out of it too. They actually have some male writers, as a matter of fact. I have seen some male writers to give some male perspective on things, which is always good to get the other perspective. But I really loved this article about embracing change, because it's hard for us, right? Sometimes we get really comfortable in identifying ourselves as one type of thing. We're identifying our self-worth by the season that we're in. So if we're mom and dad, we're comfortable with that. But then what happens when the kids, begin their own lives? And we are still mom and dad, but now we're different mom and dad. It's a different role to play, and knowing when to, hold your tongue, or things like that. So, or it's a job title at work. Maybe if you're changing positions at work, now you may have a different relationship with, your coworkers, or changing jobs altogether, like Ted is doing today. So, it's definitely sometimes exciting and scary altogether, but sometimes we identify our self-worth with that, which is what I was getting at. Or here's the biggest one, and I don't know if some of you are like this out there. We identify our self-worth by what we give to others. So if you are a person who is always taking care of everybody else and you're not taking care of yourself, if you, for some reason, for a period of time, and maybe this time in quarantine, you haven't been able to take care of others, and then you feel a little lost because you don't feel like you have a purpose anymore. You're not sure what your purpose is, and that can be a little make you a little anxious, and it can be a little scary to think about losing what your purpose in life is, because you've identified it all along with what you're doing. If that makes sense, I hope. Is that making sense out there? But so change is scary, and that's okay. And it can be exciting, and that's good too. But this is where we need to rely on our faith in God. Because this quote, I love this quote in this article, and I want to say it right. No matter what changes in our lives, the Lord never will. I want to say that again. This is Lynn Cowell, who was one of the writers who wrote this article, and I love this from Proverbs 31. No matter what changes in our lives, the Lord never will. And isn't that so true? We know it, but we don't always remember it, that God is always with us. So what this writer, Lynn Cowell, said, and I really liked how she put this, was that when we have these times of change and anxiousness, we need to look at where our confidence lies, and where are we putting our trust? Because that trust, and that will give us the peace, that trust in God, and remembering that the Lord is walking with us. And he puts people in our lives that will walk with us too. So we need to think about that. I think, anyway, for me, I hope maybe for you too, or it's a reminder for you that God is always walking with us. And she said, though our circumstances may not change today, our outlook surely can. So while we're going through these changes, whether they're exciting or scary, we need to remember that we need to put our trust in God, and that, we can change our outlook a little bit on it. Maybe if it seems a little scary, but remembering that God is standing right next to us, walking with us. So that's our I know the Bible verse that I wanted to say for today. I'm looking at my notes right here on this little stand. Where is it? Okay, this is from Jeremiah 17:7. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him. Jeremiah 17:7. So that just tells us, and I love what she said. Where is it? Over here? I know. When we build our confidence in the Lord and trusting in Him for our worth, our purpose, and our next step in life, Jeremiah says we will be blessed. So hopefully that will help in some of the anxiety and some of those change situations or change the seasons of change that are happening in our lives, to remember that, to look closely, change our outlook a little bit. And if we build our confidence through God and the gifts that He's given us, then hopefully that will bring about a peace about us, and we will surely be blessed. So another quote I liked about change, because it's not just sitting back and allowing the change to wash over us. It's also about our effort. And this is a quote from Jillian Michaels that I really like. It's about transformation, but that also goes along with that change. But I really love this. It's not about perfect. It's about effort. And when you bring that effort every single day, that's when transformation happens. That's how change occurs. And so it's not about perfect. It doesn't have to be the perfect first day of work, Ted. Seems to stick in my mind. You know, it's about that effort that you bring to the job every single day, that will bring about that change, and you'll begin to feel more comfortable in your workplace, or whether it's a change in a relationship, whether it's a friendship that you have that maybe has changed because maybe now, your friend is getting divorced, but you're still married, and that's kind of a lot of change for your friend, but a lot of change for your relationship as well. And same thing with single people. When you are single and then you have a friend that gets married, that changes your relationship. But be patient. We do have to bring forth the effort. We can't God doesn't do all the work for us as much as we would like. But we need to bring about that effort every single day, just a little bit. And whether that's reminding ourselves that God is walking with us, and finding our self-worth in the love of God. We don't need to rely on other people for that. We do get it from other people, but we don't have to rely on everybody else for that love, for our self-worth. And it's not always about what we do for everybody that brings about our self-worth. So I definitely am bringing forth that effort to accept the change that's happening in our life right now. And some days it's exciting, and some days it's a little nerve-wracking and makes me a little anxious. But I do feel a peace about it all. And that's what I kind of judge in my life, that there's a little bit of peace in that, in knowing that I kind of feel like if I have that peace about it, I'm not afraid, I'm not fearful. It's scary is a little different. It's like a little but not fearful, really. Then I know if there's peace there, that I feel like in my life it's been that's of God. So that's what I have for you today. Change, embracing change. It takes a little bit of work and a little bit of effort, but God is with us all the way. So if we remember our Jeremiah 17:7 quote, "But blessed is the one, you will be blessed, the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in Him." Did I say that enough? I think I said it 2 or 3 times. So anyway, I wanted to end with a song because Carrie and I are both musical. I don't play an instrument. I wish I did. I kick myself all the time for not having learned. But maybe when the kids are off to school and, in this whole season of change, maybe that will change and I will finally learn how to really play the piano, not just plunk out my notes. But anyway, I do have a little song that I'm going to sing a cappella. And I really love this song. It's a beautiful song, and I cannot remember the composer's name, but it's one you might have heard in church called "The Lord is My Hope," and it really helps remind us. Just the refrain of it really helps remind us. So, for whatever it's worth, here it goes. The Lord is my hope and my glory. The Lord is the song that I sing, so tender and loving a shepherd, so rooted in justice a king. When shadow confuses my vision, and sorrow lays claim to my heart, God is my refuge, my rock and my shield. I will rely on the Lord. I will rely on the Lord. So there you have it. Embracing the change. Rely on God. On our cranberry and conversation today with guest host Aimee Wasinski. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that your seasons of change will have peace about them. So maybe look at them a little differently. So thank you for joining us. I'm glad you were here. I'm sorry I couldn't see all of the conversation or answer all of the things, but please continue in the comments to mention what your change is that you're going through this day or this time in your life, or changes that have really, you can look back and see where God was at work in your life. So we thank you for being here. Have a great Tuesday and a great rest of your week. Cheers.